7 Unique Empires in Human History. 1. Inca Empire. This was the largest native empire in the Americas. The Inca managed to build huge cities without iron tools. They built a system of roads, although they didn't use draft animals. Moreover, they didn't even discover the wheel. But their empire lasted for about 250 years. At its height, it was comparable in size to the historical empires of Eurasia. The Inca Empire fell to the conquistadors in the 16th century. 2. Ethiopian Empire. The empire's long reign began when the Solomonid dynasty overthrew the Zagwe dynasty. They declared their rights to the land based on a lineage to King Solomon. From there, the dynasty went on to become an empire. The Ethiopian kingdom didn't overstretch its bounds or exhaust its resources. A number of civil wars destroyed it in the 20th century. Ethiopia was one of the last countries in the world to have an emperor. 3. Rashidun Caliphate. The first caliphate was founded by Prophet Muhammad. It encompassed most of Arabia and was then ruled by his successors. The Rashidun Caliphate saw rapid military expansion. Caliph Omar conquered the region from Egypt to Persia in 10 years. Successive caliphates only strengthened in military might. The resulting Arab Empire connected the most important cities. The caliphates established new trade routes. Sciences also flourished, especially algebra and astronomy. 4. Dutch Empire. The Dutch colonial empire was different from most. It was built to facilitate trade rather than to establish permanent settlements. Dutch colonies usually consisted of a fort and trading post. The colonies were established and run by 2 companies. They were essentially company towns. The Dutch Empire gradually lost many colonies to the British, but the Netherlands maintained some posts in the Southwest Pacific and the Caribbean until the 20th century. There are still 6 Dutch islands in the Caribbean. 5. Portuguese Empire. The Portuguese Empire had one of the strongest naval fleets ever. The kingdom reigned for 584 years. It was the first global empire in history, spanning 4 continents. It began in 1415, when the Portuguese took Ceuta, a North African city. The expansion continued into Africa, India, Asia, and the Americas. It wasn't until 1999 that Portugal gave up Macau to China. This signaled the end of the empire. 6. Kingdom of Kash. The Kingdom of Kash ruled in what is now known as Sudan. Not much is known about the exact details of its politics. Still, the Kash exerted power over several smaller nations in the area. It managed to expand south to conquer timber-rich lands. Its economy was heavily dependent on trading iron and gold. Some evidence suggests the empire came under attack from desert tribes. Other scholars speculate it was destroyed by deforestation. 7. First and Second Mexican Empires. Mexico was the only Spanish colony to declare a monarchy after independence. It's one of the few modern-era monarchies that have existed in the Americas. Agustin de Iturbide was the sole monarch of the empire. He ruled modern-day Mexico and most of the southwest U.S., but his reign as Agustin I lasted a little over a year. After he abdicated, Mexico became a republic in 1923. The Second Mexican Empire was declared in 1864. It was much smaller than the first and created by the French. Napoleon III of France wanted to establish a monarchist ally in the Americas. Chosen as the Mexican emperor was Austrian Archduke Ferdinand Maximilian. After French troops were defeated by Mexican nationalists, the empire dissolved.